everybody, got a really cool one for you today. Brand new floor plan. This is a nice upscale option. If you want to take your family out camping, but you don't want something basic, but you also don't want something that's 90 feet long. Welcome everybody. Josh, the RV nerd of Bish's RV, down here at Grand Design today with the new 2470 Imagine family camping bunkhouse thing here. This is essentially the update and upgrade to the predecessor, the 2400. One of the tricks with the 2400 is it had painfully little countertop space. They have rectified that challenge to an extreme degree. This thing is rocking the mic like a vandal. It's effectively the bunkhouse version of the 2300 Imagine. So if you're like, I like this, but I don't need bunks, look at the 2300. And if none of these numbers mean anything to you, don't worry. We're going to show you what the camper is today. It gives us like a more premium upscale execution of a mid-size family camper where you don't necessarily need to get a 1-ton dually to haul around. There's some half-ton towing potential here, but it will potentially depend on how you're camping, where you're camping, how big your family is. There's some factors in there, some X factors, but there's potential. I'll leave it at that. The outside awning on this, I don't know that it could be bigger. Imagine is so good at that. And this is a full Imagine, not the little brother XLS. So you have things like a larger front drop frame storage compartment with more capacity. We have electronic anti-sway now, in addition to the anti-lock braking that they had before. So more family towing safety features here than they had previously. Really good extended season weather package. True Queen private bedroom in the front with some awesome storage on it. And a bit of a bunk cargo space, but Imagine doesn't seem to like to pull the trigger on the rear cargo access doors. I don't know why. I've never seen them do a lot of that. Oh, this also has one of my favorite features. In the kitchen counter, there's a drop-in area where you can just throw your kitchen garbage in it, and you can see how that is, where am I at? Accessible from the outside. And you can empty the garbage outside and not have to worry about dropping anything indoors. I love that feature. I love it when one thing can do two things. And we're going to go all the way through this thing. And if you appreciate all the insights, hit that subscribe button. Let's go. And right away, this is one of the things I personally like about this update, is just how much bigger and more open this feels. Now, the old version of this, right when you walked in the door between the TV and the bed, there was like a virtual walk-in pantry behind the entertainment center. Don't get me wrong. That's really nice storage. Technically, they've scaled back a little bit on storage. I think you'll find that they got creative with the kitchen counter solutions, and I think it still has enough to get you through a weekend, and that's kind of what this one is targeted for. But overall, I like how much bigger and more open this is. The other thing that it does is it creates a little bit more potentially dining personal space, because one of the things that I didn't have displayed in my initial kind of, I call it floor plan and a flash walk around, is that this RV includes a couple handy little stools. Now, I have them orientated differently from almost anybody else, mostly because I'm weird like that. But secondly, you'd be absolutely elbow butt bumping one another if they were positioned the other way. And personally, I like to do what I call saddle straddle those things, and it just feels more comfortable to me versus the curved butt on those things. I don't know, maybe it's just my physicality as a nerd, but that's what I like. But look at the prep space in here. This is prep space that the predecessor just did not have. The only countertop space the predecessor version of this floor plan had was just this weird corner chunk over there. And now all of this has been opened up, and notice how it's all solid surface. You'll see the same thing in the bathroom. The dining table is a hardwood tabletop. They are not using T-mold or thermofoil or anything in here, but they had this weird space under the counter that was hard to reach. So they allow you to open that up, and that can just be your trash receptacle. But what's cool is that's also accessible from the outside of the RV, little thing that I pointed at there. I think that's very, very neat. And I don't know what kind of Wiccan voodoo magic they pulled to get this within fire code, but they have assured me that it's within fire code. They were able to eliminate all of the metallic mini blinds. Most brands, even luxury fifth wheels, usually have a metallic mini blind in the kitchen for fire code reasons. Whatever stuff this these new blackout roller shades are made out of evidently satisfies RV fire code, and they are able to just give you the nicer treatments all the way around here. By the way, this is all pocket screwed lumber core cabinetry. One of the things you got to watch out for in the RV industry is there's some manufacturers in their literature and their marketing efforts sometimes that will say things like hardwood cabinet, and then really small below that say doors. So you think it's all hardwood cabinetry, and it's not. You know, almost none of it is. Anyway, they went to a bigger refrigerator. They went to the 10 cube instead of the 8, which I'm glad to see. Hey, 20% more. I don't know, whatever you want to bring with you. Now, this over here, this is kind of the reason I wanted to stage up the kitchen bar dining, because by default, this RV has what I'm going to call Schrodinger's dinette, because it both is and is not a U dinette. What you is maybe not as obvious is the rear bench is a floating storage padded top ottoman. So if you want to convert this over into a very comfortable 2-bench dinette, very easy to do. And what's funny to me, it suddenly looks so much bigger. I actually think this would be more comfortable for, especially if you have 4 people, because the irony is that U dinettes don't actually seat more people. Not the way people, not the way manufacturers advertise them. They're like, oh, you seat more people around a U dinette. No, you don't. You can't sit in the corners of a U dinette, and it causes your legs to fight with one another. Now you don't have that problem. If I had this RV, this is how I would probably leave the dinette all the time. And if I needed that extra little nudge of seating space for whatever reason, I would just slide that sucker right over. And when I wasn't using it, I would slide it under the bunks so that it's not really like in my way. Now, it does have a real nice padded top. You can move around wherever you want. But you can also, use that for a little bit of storage there. That could be a handy little kitty toy chest or something. But one of the other kind of good news Charlie Brown features on here is that you don't have to get just a dinette. If you would prefer, you can get something like a theater seat. And remember, you always have that bar top dining available. So it's it's a not for everybody solution, but it is there. That potential is there. It is available. I'm so glad to see Imagine finally got rid of carpet in their slides. I was shocked how long they held on to carpet in their slide systems. At this point, most manufacturers are basically carpetless slides, which I'm really glad to see. And Imagine's pretty much always been no floor heat vents wherever they could possibly get away with it. Now, speaking of floor stuff, look like right at the floor level, just below the sink, below the stovetop, the areas where you're going to stand right up next to the counter, they give you just even a little bit of a notch of a toe kick. And that will, it's funny how much that reduces your lower back strain. It's kind of great. Why? Okay, so they gave us a backsplash behind the sink. Why don't we have one behind the stove? Whatever. Okay. You know what? Maybe there's reasons for it, and it's easy for me to stand here and armchair quarterback and critique this stuff. Maybe there's something I don't know about it. I'm not sure, but whatever. Here we go. Up in the front bedroom, it's a 60 by 80 True Queen. The number one most frequent request I hear on Imagine RVs is, can I get a king bed? And currently, they don't offer that. It's a True Queen and nothing else, because they really did a dynamite job of the storage all the way around the bed. And they have been very reluctant to kind of muck with that. But I don't know. Do you think they need to find a way? Leave me a note. Let me know. Meanwhile, we're going to keep on moving on over here. You got the headboard power pockets. And that's one of those things. I don't know that Imagine was necessarily the very first brand ever to do it in a travel trailer. They were on the forefront of it. And they're one of the brands that made it more popular. The thing is, again, it's not the official name. It's my nerdism. The headboard power pocket, blah, 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 because I like alliteration for some stupid reason. It has become very, very popular, and I like it. It's something I would like. I also really like the better hardware they use on the overhead cabinet doors. And also notice how they have full cabinet door access to the entirety of the storage over the bed. A lot of manufacturers will give you a small door left and right, and then a dead panel in the middle. Keep an eye on the little details, stuff like that. Also, this is 50 amp service and will be prepped and ready for a second air conditioner. That's what that little sticker in the vent is telling you. So if you did want a second air conditioner, this RV is capable of accomplishing that. So our crazy hot sun country cousins, you've got yourself a nice little space to be able to, stay cooler. You know what I mean? The dresser drawer storage on either side of the bed is absolutely awesome. But there's also an interesting solution going on under the bed. It's not only easy lift, but basically has like a sliding shelf drawer thing that can provide you some extra handy storage space there. Now, Gravity was doing some work and opened that door for me. my caffeinated poison there in the door, and my lunch chilling in the fridge. I didn't bring the organ donor bag today for lunch. Again, 10 cubic foot fridge. I'm looking at this though. There might be a dead unused pocket of space behind that refrigerator. It's not like Imagine to usually waste stuff like that, but it doesn't look like that fridge is slid all the way back in the cabinet there. So I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, moving on from there. I love that countertop extension. I'd love it a little bit more if it was countertop flush, but I'll take a counter extension. That's under that. When I get to my destination, I would probably put a trash can under that countertop extension. No, I wouldn't. It's already got a trash can built in the counter. Oh, they thought of that. Yes. Okay, good news. Because under the sink, they gave us drawers, and you're definitely not going to be using the drawers for garbage. I don't know. I hope not. That sounds like something a hoarder might do. No offense to any hoarders in the audience. Couple other little things I noticed. I like the look of that black stainless sink, the high-rise faucet. It's nice. I also, frankly, I'm kind of on board with these non-smart sinks. Like, I get that the 5-piece cool veggie tray sink in the luxury fifth wheels looks really neat. It just feels like a lot of extra water connections that I don't want to take the chance of failing in my RV. And I appreciate the fact that they give us a 1-piece sink cover. If you want to leave half the sink open, fold it in half. No big deal. I also really like, I'm going to call it the Light Bright peg drawer. Remember the Light Bright toy? How a couple pegs always got missing, and there's that one kid that always shoved them in his nose. You can organize your pots and pans a little more effectively. Now, what you haven't really seen is a lot of drawers. This kitchen's a little funny for that. I'm kind of surprised that we really only have well, no, you've seen 2 drawers under the sink, haven't you? So this is kind of an extra drawer. All right. Again, this is a new kitchen arrangement, and I see the same thing all day, every day. So, Imagine's done stuff a little bit differently here. I got to kind of keep that in mind a little bit. All right. Look at the like support and the backing on the front of that. Holy cow. That's a heavy duty drawer. Wow. Okay. I'm not mad at that. All right. Moving on from here. Notice that the bunks each have their own privacy curtain, and the entry doors, both here and in the bedroom, now have full viewing windows with their own privacy shades as well. The individual curtain thing for the bunks is really, really nice because, then the kids aren't fighting for it. Now, notice how each bunk has its own lighting, basically, and its own power sources. Now, the upper bunk has USBs, the lower bunk has household, so you might want to bring like a little USB adapter with you. Now, remember when I said when I wasn't using the Schrodinger's bench for the dinette, I would shove it under the bunks? Well, that's what I meant right there. Now, here's a funny thing. I mentioned how Imagine doesn't tend to do a lot of cargo door bunkhouses. That's because the water heater is located under the bunks on the rear wall. So the water heater's in the way of putting a door right there. The cargo bunk thing is handy. The hard part is, where else do you put the water heater? Because the only other place to put the water heater is either blocking your front pass-through compartment or under the kitchen counter so that the water heater hot exhaust is on the campsite of the RV with your kids. So they protected the kids. I get it. I respect it. Speaking of protecting you, I don't talk about this a lot, but my legs are always gouged up recording these videos because door handles that usually stick out on a lot of cabinetry always end up catching me. Well, this is right by the door, so they made it like snag free. And again, it's the fact that they actually think about the people who use these and not just what looks pretty and how can I sell it. That's the advantage, the edge that I think that Imagine has. There's so many other RV manufacturers that, like, because I see a lot of different RVs, they'll call me and they're like, what are they doing? Why do people love their camper so much? Because they're smarter. They're just smarter at what they do. Now, this can fold down into a sleeper. I just kind of want to show you that if you really want to get that table out of you know what else you could do? If you get the dining table and that Schrodinger's bench out of the way, that could be a nice spot for a pack and play. I never really thought about that, but that could absolutely work right over there. Another thing I'm kind of tuning into is the fact that we have no peekaboo I smell you door. You have full privacy on this. And before I forget, the barreled ceiling in here, It's not a result of the fisheye wide-angle lens that I don't use. It actually does have a barrel. Now, this lighting is intensity adjust. It's dimmable. I guess intensity adjustable is a stupid science way of saying it, like I was on Star Trek. Adjust the intensity, number one. Okay, that wasn't bad. I got to work on that. I might be able to pull off a decent Patrick Stewart at some point. Engage, but make it so. I'm sorry, I got distracted. Shoot.
Set phases to failure.
All right, there we go. Now I can add that to my list of impressions I can't do well. Oh, the bedroom lights are also dimmable, which is kind of cool. Now, I've stopped demonstrating dimmable lighting on my videos because it causes my camera to flicker. And more and more people have advised, like, hey, I have light sensitivities. I get migraines. I could have seizures. So I just want you to know that. And I want to, again, look out for your health and safety there. You see porcelain foot flush stool, plenty of leg room. Yep, leg room. And this is a 6.5 foot sidewall, but it has a barreled ceiling. And because the shower head's on the inside edge of that, the headroom above me was great. I had no problems in there whatsoever. So for me, pardon me, it counts. I was like fighting off a weird hiccup, yawn, burp combo thing. I don't even know what it was. I just know I didn't want to put it on camera. I don't even enjoy talking about it. I'm sorry. Solid surface bath counter, by the way. And let me get my arm around the corner here. Listen to the sink. I believe that's a stone cast sink, which is not something I've seen in the industry for a while. Probably because it's more expensive. But it's also something that is far less inclined to fail. Because if you live in an area where you have to winterize the RV and put it away because stuff gets too cold to go camping, it really stresses plastic stuff really, really hard. So that sink right there is something that should hold up better to more extreme weather swings while the RV is in storage. Now, this RV has 2-stage travel access, but there's a very good reason that they include a direct door into the bedroom. First of all, that direct entry door is going to let you actually get to the bedroom and sleep. Hold on. I didn't think about this. Can we get to the refrigerator? Okay, it's fairly tight, but yeah, you can kind of tiptoe through the garden like Tiny Tim and get your way over here. Ooh, it's not awesome, but I don't know, it's enough. I feel like I could still make that work. I don't love it, but I could still make that work. Anyway, what I was getting at, we've obviously cut off the bedroom. That's not ideal. But the bedroom door serves two purposes. One, it allows you to get straight into the bedroom. The second one is that if you notice where this entry door is located, it's right next to the bunks. So if Uncle Gary is in a certain kind of mood and he's tied one on and he makes a bunch of noise walking in that door, woo! How you sleeping, kids? You doing good? Well, you know, the front bedroom door eliminates the opportunity to make the big racket and wake the kids up. Hopefully you're not camping with Drunkle Gary, as it were. The other thing is, obviously, it lets you get up to the bedroom to either pack the RV if it's at a storage facility or, you know, next to the garage or whatever, or sleep overnight. Some people get really freaked out about a door straight into the bedroom. What I can tell you is this has the same deadbolt that exists right next to the entry door. That you're like, most people don't even think twice about that. This is the exact same thing. RVs are not super security fortresses. Somebody wants to get in, they're going to get in. But that deadbolt should make them make enough noise that you could decide how to defend yourself from ye old gas station murder hobo. Now, when this video first began, I had some insight as to the basics of the weights and measures on this. But I did some looking up here, and I was kind of shocked at the hitch weight rating on this. I expected the hitch weight to be much, much higher. So again, there's some half-ton towing potential here. Now, depending on how big your family is, how heavy you pack cargo, and where you can, like if you tow up and down mountains, you probably would like to step up to a 3/4 ton pickup. It'll be a much better experience. But if you're a flatland Michigander like me, and you've got a one-and-done household, I've got a single daughter, and I have one daughter. Single daughter sounds like I'm trying to marry her off. She's 14. Not yet. Anyway, you get the idea. This would work great for me with a late model tow package half ton. Now, this is a full Imagine, not an XLS. That's why you get the pretty little candy-colored nose cap. We get the barreled ceiling inside. We also get the drop frame front storage. Notice how the storage compartment is much, much bigger. Those are essentially the three primary differences between XLS and when you step up into full Imagine. Structurally, insulation-wise, general equipment, they're pretty much the same thing. But notice how they're not putting that cheap carpeting stuff down in the front pass-through so it doesn't get musty, moldy. These also ride. If I get you down here, you can see on that drop frame kind of system right there, but you also see where that sewer hose holder is located. Now, people sometimes ask, why do they use two different sets of steps on this thing? Why don't they use the same steps on both? Because some brands do. The reason Imagine doesn't do it is because if those steps were dirty and you folded them up, they would basically potentially be rubbing on the bed. And that kind of sucks, so they don't do that. Look at the awning, though. They put the biggest flipping awning on this they possibly could. They're really good about that. Imagine and J-Feather are both really good about giving you really big awnings. But I got to talk about this. I love this feature. I love indoor-outdoor little trash slide things. Well, frankly, even if it was just a trash can, just blop, built, just sitting in there, I'd be okay with it. But they took it up another level. What the? I didn't even notice this before. Are you kidding me? You have a spot outdoors to have paper towels readily available. That is freaking awesome. If you've never camped, you don't realize how handy it is to have paper towels or napkins outside and access to a garbage can outside. Oh my God, that is... See, this is the difference between an RV that's made to be used and enjoyed like this versus an RV that's just made to be sold. There's such a difference here. They could peel a bunch of this stuff out. They could make it look the same, not function the same, but cost less and way less, and it would sell just fine. But this is made for people who know camping a little bit better, you know? So first of all, down here, Goodyear Endurance radials, nice touch, 87 mile an hour rated. They also are TPMS prep, so it's basically ready for a plug-and-play system. The other thing here is the red wheel calipers. This has the Lipper anti-lock brake system for safety, which very few travel trailers have. It also has electronic anti-sway integrated into it now. That is very cool. And notice the upgraded suspension package, the MORride shock dampeners here. Very few travel trailers have an upgraded suspension package. And again, that is a major, major difference between an RV that is built just to be sold versus an RV that's built to be used and enjoyed. Because if you want this thing to stay out of the shop, would it make sense to you that the less it were shaken and banged around, the more likely it would be to stay out of the shop? That's what an upgraded suspension does. It's still a leaf spring, but it has a significant reduction of the violence that gets transferred into every nut, bolt, widget, fastener, screw, etc. You get the idea. Now, they do have a standardized kind of camp kitchenette over here under the bunk where you've got Dad's medicine cabinet on the right with the big old pancake griddle egg station over here on the left. Now, the grease shield is something that you can kind of, you can pop up all the way. I just kind of had it halfway there so that I wouldn't forget. The little pocket up there with the household outlets, nice little, I don't know, phone charge, Bluetooth speaker kind of station, because you might notice they got rid of all their outside speakers, to which I say, hallelujah, thank you, because the way that I look at this, I now have less opportunity for human failure. I have fewer holes in the wall for leak points. I like that, because I can just bring a Bluetooth speaker and jam to my crunchy tunes anytime I want, you know. I don't want to have to take this thing to the shop because one of my speakers don't work or, you know, leaked or something like that. So everyone has a difference of opinion on that. That's my personal feeling on it. 60,000 BTU on-demand water heater on the back here, by the way, and 300-pound rated accessory hitch. So if you've got the XL heavy-duty version of the bumper dumper, you can slap it in there. But allegedly, you could use those. You know, there's actually even literal hammock inserts. If you get on Amazon, there are hammocks that you can buy and slot into that 2-inch receiver hitch on the back and literally have a hammock on the back of this thing. It's crazy, the stuff that's out there nowadays, you know. It doesn't even have to make sense. It just has to be there. And one of the cool things here, this is a single-headed sewer monster. Everything outlets from the one consolidated location here, so you don't have to move your hookups around. Now, the underbelly's enclosed, forced air heated. These are 0 to 100 degree tested, by the way. Oh, yeah, and that's a rack and pinion slide. I can't remember if I mentioned that inside or not, but hey, there you go. Now, jumping up to the front of this thing here, we've got the spare tire's belly mounted on this one. Now, if you want to move that, you could repurpose the rear receiver hitch to be a spare tire holder, but that's up to you. And again, with the drop frame compartment, a lot more like a fifth wheel. They had a greater ability to kind of put the docking center in there. Oh, here's another thing. These have a basic level of inverter prep. I think they're wired for like up to a 2,000 watt inverter. It's not the kind of like big heavy gauge wiring where you'd be able to run the air conditioner off an inverter and stuff like that. Like, if that's your goal, first of all, if you want to run the air conditioner when you're boondocking off grid, you should probably just invest in a generator. But if you wanted the kind of solar package and battery array and et cetera to be able to do that, there may theoretically be enough room here to do it. But again, I would encourage you to consider you don't want to add too much hardware and then stress your cargo capacity any more than you have to. So thanks again for tuning in. As I mentioned, if you like this, you're like, I don't need bunks. I have a video for you called the 2300 MK, I believe, imagine. A little bit shorter, a little bit lighter, because they didn't have to build the bunkhouse onto it, but full rear wall bathroom instead of bunkhouse. Other than that, the living room, the kitchen, the bedroom, exact same thing. So they make this one two ways, whether you do or don't have people with you. It's all whatever, however you want to camp, basically. I'll also drop you a link in there if you want to double check MSRP and availability on our website. Now, we don't sell for MSRP. We discount heavily off of that, but Grand Design policies prevent us from publishing our discounted sale price, so we play within the rules, you know, and we'll do the same for you, too. We just try to do things the right way best we can. And if you appreciate that, if you like how we get you the footage, all the new stuff down here, you know, if you're new with us, hit that subscribe button. Maybe we'll see you the next time. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.